What's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome to the next edition of the Mindscapes series, Stories Behind the Music. Today we have in the studio Solus from South Africa, Cape Town. His name's Hanre. And welcome to the studio, man. Thanks for coming through.
Hey, thanks, Calvin. It's really an honor to be here and to talk with you and share my inspiration and the label's inspiration with everyone. And yeah, I look forward to this little talk we're going to have.
Awesome, man. Me too, bro. It's great to have you in the studio. Cool, man. So let's start off with how did you start producing music, or how did you get interested in Psy Trance? Where did your inspiration come to start basically making tunes?
This is quite a long story, actually. So yeah, my mom's a music teacher. So I basically grew up in her music classrooms when I was little. This forced me basically to play different instruments. Like I played piano, guitar, violin, even the recorder when I was little. The guitar stuck with me for quite some time. But I used to be more into like rock and heavy metal music when I went into high school. And then eventually after school, I was still playing guitar, and we used to go to Ramfest a lot up in Johannesburg. And the one year they actually had Infected Mushroom on the lineup with In Flames.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I was In Flames.
Amazing. Like they were my all-time favorite band, probably still one of my favorites.
Killer band, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, before I went, I thought, let me listen to this Infected Mushroom a little bit, because I've never heard of them before then. And I thought, wow, this is actually kind of a cool vibe. Back then I used to listen on YouTube a lot. So that's basically how I got introduced to Infected Mushroom. And then I just went down the rabbit hole from there, listened to lots of different trance, different electronic music. I actually got into drum and bass a bit.
What year was that again?
That was like 2012. Yeah, 2012, I think.
Okay, cool.
Then I started listening to Psy Trance. I didn't really know anyone else that went, so I convinced my cousin to come with me to our first festival. So we went to Swine Crate Gathering up in Johannesburg.
Yeah. Cooking hot.
But it was great fun, and that's kind of how I got into the music. Then fast forward a couple years, me and a couple of mates started like hosting our own little house parties, and we like together started DJing. We did that for like maybe a year or so. Then we thought, let's maybe start hosting like public parties.
Okay, awesome.
So we did this thing called Synergetic at Railways Cafe in Centurion. So for the first couple of ones, we only DJ'd, and then me and one of my mates, Cosmic Sidekick, who's living in Vietnam now, we actually started producing the music.
Okay.
He actually has a degree in music, so awesome. He's got like this classical background. So
yeah, you can hear it in his production.
Yeah, sure. So we basically just like worked together a lot, and over the years, I think our music got a bit better. COVID actually forced me to spend most of my time in the studio. So
yeah, I'm sure.
I think since there I got a bit more serious, and that's how I eventually landed on PsynOpticz after I was comfortable with the level of quality of my music.
Yeah, and your quality is top notch, bro. So you definitely waxed that in COVID, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I think some people can say that about COVID. Others, I think, lost a bit of motivation. So the scales just flipped around a little bit.
Yeah, worked in your favor there.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. And the style of music you chose to produce, like why did you end up going in that direction of more like the night full-on, night twilight, or there's like kind of a little crossover, like a bit of both there, you know?
Yeah, see, that's the thing is, honestly, I don't even really know what to call my style. Like, I used to be more like when I was DJing like about 8 years ago, I used to be more into like nano records, digital ohm, sacred technology, into that kind of music. But then after moving to Cape Town, it seems like a lot of the parties here are a bit more psychedelic, a bit harder, a bit more nighttime. And I eventually got to listen to more styles like Bomb Shanker, Sangoma Records, Looney Moon. So I have a bit of influence from both. So whenever I write music, I just kind of let my emotions take me somewhere, find out what really makes me grooving, and that's I think it's a combination of both. A little bit daytime full on and some nighttime vibes.
Yeah, because you got a very melodic type of production, you know, very groovy and moving, and like it feels like you just go with the flow and you just feel where it's going to take you, kind of thing, you know. Yeah, really, your style definitely, and the consistent rolling. I think you like that that constant drive going. You know,
Yeah,
like keeping you in that trance state. You know,
that's kind of exactly like what I enjoy listening to it mostly. It's like you don't have these major ups and downs. It's like constantly, slowly progressing towards something, but it never actually reaches a destination. So it's more about the journey of the music than
that's
anything
awesome,
else.
man. Your tracks killer on the dance floor, man. Really killer. And you released a couple of EPs with us already, and they're really killer. The way the first EP did with us, geez, I throw up those tracks still, like most sets of mine. So you know that The Way is like one of my favorite tracks. It was like, what track can I use for this? The Way. But your ideas behind your EPs there, and approaching us, like why you chose to approach us as well to release them and to sign to us, like your reasoning behind that.
So, yeah, I mean, as I've mentioned, like with COVID, I got to a level that I was really happy with my music. So I got a couple of tracks together and put them in a pack. So like two of those actually weren't that amazing, but I still included it. And I thought about which label should I approach. And I mean, there are international labels that I really enjoy listening to, but then I've also thought about PsynOpticz. Like every time I saw you play up in Johannesburg and in Cape Town, I was really loving the music, and I was listening to your music a lot, the music that you release. So I thought I'd rather approach a local label and like have a family nearby in Cape Town than approaching a label like in the UK or like in Germany or something. Because I mean, I think part of being in a label for me is having that family vibes, and it's definitely something that we have here in Cape Town with PsynOpticz.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the little time that I've been with the label, I can see how we've grown like massively. Yeah. And I think it's just going to get better from here on.
Awesome. Yeah, man, we're definitely trying to do that, you know, like to create that family vibe, doing these label nights, doing the braais, doing get-togethers, and starting this as well, you know, like trying to build that connection and that family vibe. Everyone just works with each other, supports each other, promotes each other. Because we're not making millions in Psy Trance, you know, like we're just doing this because we love the music, we love the environment, we love the people on the dance floor, and like I think, definitely it shows. And having our family together, everyone seems to have that same point of view, which is nice that it's worked out that way, you know. Like when I sign artists and I meet people that want to be part of the label, there's always that something that clicks, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and it's that click has happened with all of our local artists, which is awesome. You know?
And I can say, like, even just by these label nights we've had at gigs, like it's just the music flows perfectly through the night. It's like almost we don't need to communicate with each other. We're just like on the same wavelength.
Level.
It's great. And
it's nice that also within our artists that we have good versatility, you know, like from Fixius to Dan Scott to yourself to Priest, to myself and Peyote, and Motion Theory, that we kind of have a good flow, and within that the DJs are like to play, whether it be like from nightfall on to twilight to dark. So no matter where we place our guys, everyone like flows, which is great, you know. So we can have the flow. It's not like we all just play like 155 crazy and then like it starts beginning to end. It's like hardcore. We can create that flow, which is awesome. Man.
Yeah, no, I think that versatility is great, and also the artists that we have internationally, it's like it almost feels like they're part of the family here in Cape Town with us. Like how often we communicate with each other and talk together and share music with each other and ideas.
No, that's awesome. That's what I've tried to install. It's taken a while because everyone always in their own countries connect with their own group of friends, and it's really difficult to get everyone to communicate. So I'm always trying to, like, the WhatsApp group and the Facebook group and the producers group, and trying to get people to work and chat, because if everyone does their own thing, it's like you're just managing an office of people in different locations and no one just talking, and then no one like wants to work together. Especially I think with doing this family compilation and the collabs, and the want to do the collab EPs and remixes, and then forcing our artists to communicate and talk to each other and create new styles, like fool around with stuff, not be limited by. Sometimes I think, I'm sure you feel this when you're working on stuff and you found your groove and your flow and your sound design, like you work in your comfort zone, you know, and you progress. But like when you work with other guys, you're like, shit, that's actually an amazing idea. Like, how did you do that? And what tools did you use? And then you learn, right?
So, no, I can definitely agree with that. And like you've mentioned now, creating all these groups and stuff, it kind of built a connection for me with other artists in other countries from PsynOpticz, and now we're even talking about like collabs on our own and working together. It really feels like they're here with us.
Yeah. No, man, that's what I want to try and build with all of us, you know, that and also to showcase what our label is about, you know. So when I've been releasing music for so long, and it's so many different artists from around the world, which I love networking and love connecting, but also we want to showcase what our entire label vision and family is about, you know. So if we can do that, and we have everyone working together, new projects can be formed, new ideas, and showcasing what we're about, like, I think that's super important. Essentially what like a label should be showcasing, you know, like their family.
Yeah, and it's also amazing seeing how all our different artists are growing. Like you can see the level of quality is growing as we are progressing.
Yeah,
in time.
No, definitely, man, definitely. And so yeah, going back to your first EP, The Way, like, that's such a killer EP, bro. We brought that out. That was 2 years ago, hey?
Yeah.
It's 2 years now. And it doesn't get old. So go check it out. Your ideas behind those tracks, any motivation for your creative flow on them? Or like, did you have a theme like for that EP, or were you just working on tracks and you found that these work cohesively? Or did you, when you approach tracks, do you think of a theme of like what you're gonna go for?
Like honestly, for my first EP, like that was actually written during COVID, and that was when I was still kind of finding my footing with production. So those were the first 3 tracks that I felt had like a consistent like style, and that I was comfortable with sharing with the world. So I kind of at that time didn't really have a specific theme for the different tracks, as I was just trying to improve and write music that I like.
Okay.
But then I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what set the groundwork for me going forward.
Okay.
So since then, I've been trying to be consistent with the same style, and
yeah, you found your groove essentially with
Yeah.
that, like where you wanted your sound to be, you know.
Yeah.
And then developing your production skills, like how do you find out this information? Are you doing tutorials? Are you doing courses with other producers? Are you just doing like YouTube content? Explain to our viewers and that, like what's the best way that you found to learn about production?
Yeah, that's like a big rabbit hole to go down into. But essentially, when I started out, I watched a lot of YouTube tutorials, like following the YouTube creators like Dash Glitch, Ollie Music, Mute Productions. Those are probably the three that I followed the most. But and Collective Intelligence.
Okay.
So I watched a lot of tutorials on sound design, and probably my first 2 years, I forced myself to just make my own sounds. Like I didn't really want to use presets or samples at the time, because I thought, like, if you can put in the time to learn this now, it's a lot easier to create your own sounds later than looking through a pack of 1,000 samples. I even like synthesized my own hats and snares at that time.
Jeez, wow.
It didn't sound that great, to be honest, but it was a good experience, and it taught me like to learn my synthesizers really well. But then at that stage, I also joined Glitch's Discord server. So it's like, if you subscribe to his Patreon, you get access to a server, and then there's like artists from all over the world where you can submit tracks and they give you feedback and so on. So I did that for a couple of years, and I would like continuously send my tracks and ideas to other artists to get their feedback.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and then actually, like, probably for the last 2 years, I actually don't really watch tutorials anymore. Like I feel comfortable enough with my quality that I rather experiment myself, like with different sounds, different effects, because I feel like it's then you can really develop your own sound, and you're not just copying someone else. But you have to go through the process to put in the time to learn how to make different sounds.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think if you want to find your uniqueness, creating something, that's one thing I always used to mess around as well, is like just sit with that VST and play with it and find something that's like completely different, you know. Because a lot of guys now, like you say, with preset packs and loop packs, and guys find a sound of someone else that they like and try and replicate it. But you find guys that are creating a unique sound, and like yours is definitely unique. You know, you've like tailored it and created something that came out of your mind, you know. And that only comes out every now and then. You see things like that, you know, and like nowadays with music, because there's so much of it, people just latch onto things that they're attracted to, you know, and then they start creating that similar. And even if you listen to a specific style, I think that ingrains in your head, and maybe you're not naturally doing it. You're just starting to write things that are already there because you're listening to that sound so much. So yeah, you definitely created something different, you know, which is awesome, man. It's hard to find that now, you know. It's a lot of guys making very similar stuff.
Yeah, I think that something that really also helps me is like, there are times that I just listen to other styles of music, like from classical to rock to metal, like constantly, and that it gives you different ideas of like arrangement and what sounds to use. So when you get into the studio, you have like a complete different motivation with your music. Whereas if you just listen to Psy Trance, you kind of get stuck in like a loop where you're just trying to sound the same as everyone else.
Yeah. And what type of music do you listen to mostly? Rock, metal, or you still listen to a whole lot of other genres?
Yeah,
everything.
I really like my metal, like heavy metal from the Scandinavian bands. Um, I do like some rock and blues. I actually also listen to drum and bass a lot.
Okay, awesome.
So it's a wide variety.
Should include some drum bass in your breaks. Drum bass and Psy works well together, I find. At like high intensity energy, like it works well.
Yeah, in a lot of my later tracks, I actually use a lot of like drum and bass and dubstep style leads. Like I feel like it works really well with your Psy Trance kick and bass and percussion.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think the two sounds merge well, you know. Psy Trance and drum bass dancehall, they should have that more at parties. It's like the energy levels are similar, you know.
Yeah.
And then, so since signing to PsynOpticz, like gigs that you played, festivals, like what stands out for you in the last couple of years, you know?
Yeah, I think the one that stands out most to me has to be Move Festival last year, because that was like my first time that I was playing with the other PsynOpticz guys like you and Peyote after me. And it was also the first time that I really played a nice time slot, like nighttime, just starting the Psy event of the night. Like I was so nervous actually, but everyone loved it, and the dance floor was just grooving, and the music flowed so perfectly from me into you, into Peyote.
Yeah, it was a good flow here. Yeah, that was a good party. Yeah, your set went down killer there, man. Well done. Yeah, that was pretty much our first kind of label takeover, which was mini label takeover, which was really awesome. Move Festival gave us that opportunity, and it was really cool. It's like started the kind of flow for things what we're aiming to do now, because obviously in Europe and around the world these guys are doing these label takeovers or showcases at festivals, and it's really amazing because it allows the festival to also get more promotion through the label to get more promotion through the festival, and then showcasing like our ideas and our sounds and what we're about, you know. So it's nice that starting to happen here. We're trying to, like, also our next one that we did was organic, you know, and that was a full Friday night, and that was epic. You know?
Man.
Like the flow was incredible, the vibe was mad. All the videos are going to be out soon. Dan Scott's posted his already. We're going to post the rest on our Instagram and Facebook as well. And that was really killer, you know, like the hype that we built up with the festival with it, and how people were speaking about us. And we bought a Rie from Japan as well. And that was really cool. So
and I have to say I'm honored being part of a label that's grown to a level that we are able to do things like that.
Yeah, likewise. It feels really good to be able to approach people and get that recognition for all of us that we all work so hard for, you know.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time in the studio, online with social media, creating these sets, networking and building connections. So it's now, PsynOpticz has been going, like I formed it in 2004, 2005. So it's been almost like 20 years now, you know, and that's a long time for building these connections so it's amazing that we're in that position now, that people are respecting what we do and like wanting to work with us, and we definitely promote the South African scene a lot, you know. That's what we want to promote. We have an incredible scene here, and to work with promoters that are putting a lot of effort and money and passion into these projects. We're doing exactly the same thing, you know. So like we're working together to help build a better scene and
that's exactly it. It's like we all share a love for the music, and we want to build something great together. So we have all the promoters putting all their energy into their events, and us producers putting all our effort into like making music that we love and want to share with the world, and then
other DJs can play it, you know.
I know, but it's like it all forms part of like this big community, and
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing about being part of the label for me is like you're kind of helping the scene grow in South Africa and in Cape Town, and it's only going up from here.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think after COVID, everywhere, obviously, scenes took a bashing, music industry, every industry. And now we see the scene just growing stronger and stronger, you know. We're glad that we can try and contribute as much as we can to that as well. And try and promote our local scene as much as possible. So, yeah, man. And then, so other gigs that stand out for you, played Connection, New Year's Eve Festival. How was that? Because I played the years before, and that was incredible. Insane location, mad lineup, proper psychedelic all the way. How was your set for that New Year's Eve?
That was actually great. They had a 5-day event this year, and it was set at the Amphitheater Backpackers in the Drakensberg. So it's like you're inside this valley, and you have basically mountains all around you.
Just beautiful there.
Yeah, it's amazing. And they set up the dance floor like right by this little dam. So you can walk onto a jetty, and then you just stand in the middle of the water and look around you, and there's like mountains, and you see the dance floor on the one side.
Jeez. Awesome.
Yeah, no, but the music was great. Like everyone there brought the A game. And I think my set went down as well. Great as well. Like it was probably the second time that I've played a 2-hour live set. I was a little bit nervous because having that much of your own music takes a lot of time and effort.
Yeah.
But the people loved it, and I really I can't like recommend Connection enough for people.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of South Africa's top New Year's Eve events.
Yeah,
they put an incredible amount of effort into it, and the people that go are all there for the music, for the vibe, for the connection. So yeah, I loved it. Loved the people, loved the vibe. Yeah, it was really epic, and like you say, venues, next level venues. You know,
and you can see they share the same passion for the music and just like bring the best out of it.
Yeah, no, they do. And this year, what are you going to be focusing on? What collabs are you working on? What's your ideas for 2024?
Yeah, well, so this year I want to release my debut album.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a little bit postponed, but I've rather decided to, if I'm going to release something big like that, I want everything to be perfect, and I want to put in my A game. So there's a lot of collabs that will be on there. So a couple label ones, like I've been working with Bandicoot a lot lately. Then I also really work well with Priest, and we'll be doing another one.
Awesome.
Then there's also like a big one that will be on that album is a collab with Mutalians.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we actually worked in my studio when he came to play Our Minds in South Africa, and it was really amazing working with such a big artist and
nice
seeing
learn some new tips and tricks and ways that you arrange or like work with your production, or how you do your kicks and your hats, or like is any like specifics that like really help you accentuate in your production? Or
just I think workflow, and like because he took over the studio pretty much for like 3 days and just sat and worked, and we spoke about the music, and he gave me some tips. So definitely lots of mixing advice, but just seeing like how someone works that has been producing for so long, it's really inspiring. Like it almost looked like he's a wizard in the studio. But yeah, so I'm really excited for that one. And then there's a couple of other collabs that will be coming out through the year as well.
awesome. Okay, nice, man. Yeah, we're looking forward to it, dude. Like, yeah, the album's gonna be killer.
Yeah,
Just
definitely.
make some mad artwork for that one. And then gigs and stuff. Like, what are your visions for the next couple of years? Like, which gigs do you want to play? Which festivals, which indoors? What are you like feeling like you want to drive and push yourself to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, that's also a difficult question because these things are never really in my control. Like, I really only control the amount of time that I put into writing music. So my first focus will always be just like writing good music and enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I mean, from there are a couple of festivals that I really want to play in South Africa. Like, definitely on my mind is Our Minds at the end of the year. Hopefully, things will happen there.
Yeah, killer festival.
I mean, I think my goal would be to play all the big festivals in South Africa first, and then from there take on the rest of the world.
Okay, awesome. Nice, bro. Which ones in the rest of the world do you want to take on? Eh? Boom for sure.
I mean, you can always dream about those. Yeah, maybe Esoteric in Australia.
Yeah, that looks massive. Just what they're like. It's like 400 artists. How many dance floors? Like it's insane.
Yeah, then I mean, I think Hydra Festival. I think that's in Germany or something. That looks really good.
Yeah, in France, eh?
Is it in France?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are too many. I mean, you probably will take a lifetime to play all of them, but
yeah,
it's always a possibility.
And tie it into doing some killer traveling too, you know.
Yeah.
Like, go play Hadra and go and travel around Europe and do some backpacking and see the world there.
And just connect with other artists around there. I mean, you can always learn from everyone and have a good time while you're at it.
No, exactly, man. Yeah, I loved in my past and traveling to festivals and that, connecting with our own artists and connecting with other promoters and people that I feel like they are part of the industry and showcase their love for it. And like you meet so many people, new friends and family along the way. You know, it's really awesome. We definitely need to get to Japan as well. Like I'm going to be going in April, but Rhea wanted to bring you as well. So hopefully next year we can do that. We've got a nice base in Japan, which is really awesome. And they love coming to South Africa, so we like hopefully going to be working this exchange like backwards and forwards, and which is really killer.
That's a great idea, actually. Like,
yeah, well, like it's meeting like-minded people that have the same vision, and now they're part of the same family and working with each other to get us to be traveling and playing these gigs and just showcasing our love for the music. You know, it's really awesome. And just for all the other producers out there as well, what DAW are you working on? What VSTs are you using? Like, what can you suggest to people to, if they're starting producing or if they are producers? Like, what's your?
So yeah, I work in Ableton Live. That's all I've ever only been working on as a DAW. I've contemplated moving over to Bitwig, but for the time being, I find that the latest patch of Ableton 11 is like really stable. So I don't have a reason to move anymore. And I really love working in Ableton. In terms of VSTs, for sound design, I probably use Serum and Vital the most. That's something that I would recommend for new producers is stick with one VST as a synthesizer first and get to learn the VST and actually how it works.
It's crazy how many people use Serum and Vital. Those ones like back in there when I was producing was like Albino and Vanguard and VB1 for bass and Chronox for bass, and I know some of the dark guys are using VB1 still for bass, which is a super ancient one.
I actually use Silent more for my bass, but for all the other sound design, I use Serum and Vital.
Okay. Well, Silent has been around for a while as well. Yeah. I was using that back in the day as well, and that makes powerful bass lines there.
Yeah. For bass, I think it works. Sounds better than Serum, but obviously it depends. Like I do sometimes make a really killer bass in Serum.
Okay.
But what I like about Serum and Vital is like it's wavetable synthesizer, so you can load custom wavetables, and that's how you can create really unique sounds. And there are some amazing wavetable packs out there that you can get. But yeah, so in terms of synthesizers, that's what I use the most. But lately, I'm focusing more on effects, like I'm using phases after the synthesizer. So I would bounce like an audio clip of 16 bars. Then I can literally, let's say I have a 16 bar of FM leads and then make a whole track from it just by adding different effects on it.
Oh, geez.
So,
okay.
Yeah, like
splicing it up,
glitching it, adding phases, flangers.
Okay.
I mean, you can take one 16 bar loop and create so many different sounds from it.
Sure.
It's amazing. And the one VST that I've been using the most lately is Infiltrator.
Okay.
It's like a multi-effect plugin. So you can, let's say, you have like your loop bar where you can have like all these different effects, and then let's say on this bar it does a phaser effect, on that one it does a glitch, and then on that one it does a flanger, and then it repeats it. So you have like this constant chaotic grid type sounds that keeps repeating itself. So you get that variety, but it's also grooving because it keeps repeating.
Okay, sure. Cool. New toys. I'm going to start producing again, hopefully. I'm going to come raid your studio.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay, awesome, man. And where are you creating your own kicks, or have you already, like, you've got your own pack of kicks and pack of percussion? Like you said, you were creating your own hats and stuff before. Are you doing that now? Are you using samples, or like, are you, yeah?
So for kick and bass, I created myself. So for the kick, I'll use the VST Kick 2 by Sonic Academy. There are some good preset packs for it, but I've made a preset myself like a while ago, and then I would typically just create a new bass for a track in Silent and process it, and then I will slightly adjust, let's say, the pitch curve and the amplitude curve of the kick to match with the bass. Okay. So that it can have everything in phase, and it can sound rolling a lot, and then I'll bounce that to audio. And then for my hats and snares and all percussion, yeah, I don't make that myself anymore. I use usually a Futurephonic pack, the Foundations one by Virtual Light and Scorb, or I use the Thomas Penton sample pack for my hats and snares and claps and so on.
Okay. But
then my leads, I would say about 70% of it I create myself with effects. And nowadays I'm not really against using presets and samples anymore. I mean, it has its place in the music, and it does sometimes just take your track a little bit to the next level. So I think if you can use that and blend it with your own sounds, you can create a really killer combo in the end.
Okay, awesome, man. Because I noticed a lot of guys, even not even necessarily synthesizing their own stuff, just grabbing these loop packs and stuff. And then, like you say, you can take one sound and just glitch it, cut it up, and make it sound totally different, and make a track from that one sound. So essentially now you don't even have to necessarily understand music, you can, or theory of music. You can create a track just by understanding programming and like glitching things and understanding how the software actually works, which is quite cool. So it's allowing people that don't necessarily have time to or want to learn the theory behind music, but still create music that they're inspired by whatever comes in their heads, which is quite cool.
I mean, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the end product. So how you get to that, it doesn't really matter. I mean, for me, I write music because I enjoy the creative process and like how it makes me feel. And I can, after a difficult day, go and sit in the studio and just let my creative juices flow, and I would feel better after that. Whereas other people have other inspirations, and I don't think there's a right and wrong in music. You just have to.
There should be no rules.
Yeah.
I watched somebody talking a podcast about that. They were like, where I studied music at school, and there was lots of rules, and to follow by, and not, but like majority of the time there's rules, and now it's like guys are just like, what? Why do I need rules? Like these rules are limitations, and you can create things that are completely different. And look at our electronic music genres, like there's some really crazy stuff out there, and it's I like it. It's like super twisted. How did you even get to this idea? And it's it's great.
Yeah, I think that's also a thing that new producers struggle a lot with, is they'll go watch tutorials and someone may tell them this is the only way that you can do something.
Yeah.
Whereas there isn't really a right way. I think the best thing is to learn from as many people as possible and form your own opinion about it, because the way that they maybe make a kick isn't going to work with how you make the rest of the sound. So
yeah,
you have to do what works for you.
No, definitely, man. And so you work in Ableton. Have you worked on collabs and other software, or you just always been on Ableton?
Only Ableton. Usually, if I collab with other people, we'll work in stems. If they work in other softwares,
So when you're working in stems with other producers, are you how are you learning from that producer with regards to, like, when you get an open project, you can also see how producers worked on that VST and how he's like programmed that sound. If they're just sending you stems, like how are you necessarily learning from that producer when you're working with them?
Well, I think it depends what you want to take out of the collab. I mean, just listening to how other producers like arrange their sounds and seeing where the sounds are placed, that already in itself teaches you a lot. And then having to put your own sounds into that and having like a whole cohesive collab teaches you to like think completely differently, because you're used to a certain way of doing something that you've come up with over the years. Yeah. Now you have to work with someone else whose brain works completely different to yours. So it forces you to get out of your own comfort zone. So in a way, yes, you may not learn how to make certain sounds, but you learn about the creative process, and you get out of your own mind. And sometimes that's more important than just the sound design itself.
And you said you're working a lot with Bandicoot lately. You're enjoying producing with him, yeah?
Yeah, I think also we both work in Ableton, so it's easy to, once you've worked on the project, you create like a compressed ALP file and just send it over. So then he just literally opens the project on his side, or vice versa.
Okay, that's cool.
So it goes a lot
quicker. And then you can both learn from each other, like with how you working with the VSTs, how you programming things. That's quite cool. And he's got a very unique style as well. Also very clean sounds.
Yeah.
And you're also very clean and clinical, so I can see how you enjoy working with that. Awesome.
Yeah, man. We have some killer collabs coming out soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to them. Yeah, you guys make some really cool music together. Same as Priest as well. Damn, power's gone. Fuck. That's sick. This one's still going. And that one, cool. Next cut. Cool, man. Well, dude, it's really been amazing to have you in the studio and just discussing all this stuff and finding out more about you and your production and your music and your visions. I'm sure all of you have really enjoyed this as well. It's really great to have Solus in the studio. And yeah, be prepared to be hearing some really killer tunes that are coming out through the rest of the year. And his debut album, that's going to be next level. And yeah, man, is there anything else that you would like to share with everyone?
No, I just want to say thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me this chance on the label. It's been amazing seeing all of us grow together and inspiring other people. Like I've heard from so many people, like who actually also their end vision is like joining PsynOpticz now. It's just amazing hearing that from young artists. So
yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah,
to hear,
like,
man.
It's been
great. We're on this roll. Like things are just like really flowing nicely. Everyone's like pushing and working hard together and trying to showcase everything. And it's it's really awesome to see this happen, you know.
And thanks for having me on this interview. I look forward to sharing my music with everyone throughout the year.
Yeah.
And I'll just keep pushing.
Yeah, man. And obviously follow Solus on Instagram and Facebook, and check out, this is his release, The Butterfly Effect, all on our YouTube as well. So you can go listen there, and obviously all on all the other platforms around. And yeah, we look forward to the rest of the year with you, and lots of cool things coming. So thanks for coming on Mindscapes, and we'll see you on the next edition.
That's one.